nobody tells you that growth feels like grief, because when you grow, people leave you. But it's not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your breakthrough. Hey, Royal family, welcome to the front row with myself, Roanna. Let's talk about why it feels lonely when you grow and what to do about it. Chapter 1: Loneliness versus being alone. Being alone can be extremely powerful. When you're alone, it's sort of like a spiritual state. It's meditative to a point. When you're alone and you are looking within yourself, you're learning how to be friends with yourself. You're learning to love yourself in a way that nobody else can. Being alone is such a good thing because it's about finding yourself, knowing your values, knowing what you stand for, learning how to be amongst everyone, but also be okay with standing for your values, your rights, what you are about. And it is a very productive state in your growth life cycle. When you are alone, you are creating space for a connection with your soul or your atma. And that's why things like meditation, taking a walk on your own, doing some sort of wellness activity is so therapeutic, and it's so welcomed, and it makes you feel happy. But it's a different kind of happiness because it is you being alone and you finding who you are inside and getting happy with that person. Often when people don't know how to be alone and spend time with themselves and be happy with themselves and get to know who they are as people, is when they project on other people and they start becoming jealous, or they start being mean or toxic. And that's because they don't know how to be alone, or they are not happy with who they are within themselves, or they haven't done the work yet to learn who you are and to be okay with the person that resides within this body. And that is a connection with a higher self, a higher purpose, your soul. Some people call it the self, or one with God. Whatever you want to call it, it's a connection with something that is beyond something you can understand or speak about, because it's spiritual. It's on a different realm. It's something that you can't physically feel, touch, and see, but you know that exists. And that's who you want to get to know, that spirit that resides within you. Now, loneliness, on the other hand, is a little bit different. Loneliness is a feeling of feeling absolutely secluded. Even when you are with your loved ones, when you are with your friends and family, when you are in any social setting, you just feel absolutely secluded. You don't feel connected. You don't feel like this ish is working. You could go into a depressive state. Loneliness is sitting with your friends and still feeling invisible, or being in a WhatsApp chat group and not feeling heard or not feeling seen. And that feeling can take you down a very lonely, dark path. Loneliness is also about being in a relationship that you don't feel connected to, or you don't feel like you are part of, or you don't feel seen in that relationship. It's when you don't feel like you can express yourself completely, or sometimes loneliness could feel like you're the only motivator amongst the people that you're around. And that could be draining. And it could feel lonely because everybody else doesn't get you, and you're the only person that gets it. And you're the motivator, you're the come on, let's get it done. And you're trying to be the beacon light to the group of friends that you join or the family that you're rolling with. And that draining feeling of always being the person that's always the motivator can make you feel lonely. And that's kind of similar to what I felt for a long time. I didn't know that I was feeling lonely. And as I got older, I realized that, hey, I am around all these people, and yet I don't feel a sense of happiness. I don't feel like I want to be around these people again. I don't feel motivated. I always feel drained. I also feel like I shouldn't always be the person doing all the work, maybe. Once I started to realize that I was lonely and I started to look at my reactions to it, it made sense. Because of me being lonely, I was behaving in a dark way. I was not very happy, and I wasn't very keen on a lot of things because I just didn't want to be in that space. But I wasn't expressing myself well enough, and I also didn't have the know that I was feeling lonely and I needed to do something about it. Chapter 2: Why growth feels lonely. Once I started to realize why I was lonely, I knew that I needed to do something about it. And I started to look at my life, the things that I liked to do, the things I didn't like to do, the things that I stood by, the things that were important to me, the kind of people that I actually wanted to be around. And I set down clear goals for how I wanted to be in the world and in society. I started to learn that I needed to lose some parts of myself, the things that were holding me back to achieve my goals, to achieve my dreams. And I knew that I needed to let go of my old habits that were not serving me to be the person that I wanted to be. And in order for me to grow, I needed to become her. I needed to practice being her so that I could achieve this type of person that I wanted to be. And that took a lot for me to learn. And then more than that, it also took a lot for me to decide to act on it. Because it's incredibly intimidating to say that if I'm going to do this, I'm probably not going to have all these friends that I had before. I'm probably not going to see some of the family members because all of these people are not going to understand. And if they do, great, they can come on that journey. But if they don't, then it's something that I need to deal with and be comfortable with and be okay with, and be okay with being alone, but also knowing that when I do feel a sense of loneliness, that it's because of the choices that I made for my own growth, and I needed to be comfortable with that. I also had to learn that where I'm going, not many people can ride with me on that journey. It's sort of like hiking. Some people get really sick when they reach high altitudes, and others can manage it and then they can continue on that hike. And that's exactly how I felt it would be. The people that remained in my life were the people that could handle the altitudes that I was trying to reach. And the people that couldn't handle those altitudes, unfortunately, I needed to leave behind. And when I left those people behind, some of them became very bitter and they didn't like it. And that kind of bitterness made me feel lonely. It made me feel excluded. It made me feel like, questioning whether I made the right decision. But I stayed the course and I continued on the journey because I knew that at the end of the day, nobody else was going to do this for me. It was a difficult decision. And from all the readings that I've read, from all the talks that I've seen, people who are successful had to do it. They had to go on the journey and they had to let some people go. And they had to feel lonely and they had to feel bad that these people couldn't join them on this journey. But they needed to do it. And that's how they rised. And that's how they became a better version of themselves. I also realized that it's absolutely okay for me to grieve the loneliness or the loss or the people that are no longer in my life. That's okay. And then at the same time, celebrate this new, beautiful person that I'm turning into. In order for me to be the best version of myself, I needed to let go of certain people. And some of those people are really close to me. And I had to make that choice because for so many years, I had accepted their behavior. I had accepted being around them, but me being around them didn't allow me to grow because every time I tried to grow, they pulled me back. Every time I tried to do something for myself, they pulled me back. And I realized that years are going by and I'm getting more and more irritated because I'm not achieving my goals. And the moment I chose myself, it was one of the hardest decision of my life, but it was also the most liberating feeling. And the moment I chose myself, I saw a change in the people. I saw that they became distant. They didn't even care to check up on me. And I continued on my path and I propelled my life so much further than all the years that I had stayed behind to make sure they were feeling okay. And I just wanted to be available to everybody. Chapter 3, dealing with the loneliness. I was watching Diary of a CEO and Stephen was interviewing Emma Grede. So in the podcast, she says, the people that will get you to 1 million are not the same people that will get you to 10 million. And the people that get you to 10 million are not the same people that will get you to 100 million and so on. So she had to learn the hard way of letting people go. And she also said that she's a loyal girl, she's kind, she didn't want to let go of those people. But when she realized that she needed to and she did, that's when she started to see the growth. And that's really what it is. You have to be okay with where you want to go and what you need to do to get there. But if you don't want to go that far, then it's okay. You can stay where you are with all those people that can manage those altitudes. But if you're not that person, if you are driven, if you are motivated, If you are someone that sees something bigger for yourself, then honey, you got to let go of those people that are not going to allow you to be that person. And you have to start creating space for a new circle, a circle that allows you to be empowered, a circle that allows you for growth, a circle that will blow your mind. If you are the smartest person in the room, you are in the wrong room. I want to be in a room where I am the most inexperienced person, and I want to learn from everybody around me. I want them to be so damn strong that I thrive on their stories, because that's when you grow. And a lot of the times when you find those types of people, they can stick with you for many, many years to come because they can handle those altitudes. It's about finding the same type of people who have the mindset and the drive of growth within them to want to grow and propel themselves, because those people can handle the altitudes that you want to go to. The other thing that I think is very important, and I have been very bad at this, is that I go on vibes. If I'm vibing with someone, then it's great. And that has failed me so many times. I'm vibing with you, and then what? It's not working out. So I had to change my approach. I had to go on values. What kind of values do you have? You may not align with me, but if we have the same values and we have the same hunger to grow, then we could collaborate with each other. I started to join communities and go to webinars and conferences where those types of people were around, and those people were hungry, they were growing, maybe they have already reached where I wanted to go to. That's the kind of people I wanted to play with. And the other thing I realized is to turn the gap that I felt of the loneliness and the darkness, was to turn that into solitude success. It's a space where I used it to journal, to meditate, to build trust for myself, to understand my values, to understand what I am, who I am, to be more confident with myself, and to invest the necessary time I needed for myself, for the growth that I wanted to see. Sort of like a caterpillar. A caterpillar goes into the cocoon alone. They have to break down completely before they emerge as a butterfly. And that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be this caterpillar that went alone, did the struggle time, and then emerged as a beautiful butterfly. And if that is my price for transformation, then I'm happy to accept the reward that it will give me. If you are feeling alone because you've chosen yourself, don't go back on your decision. You have made the right choice. Be open to finding a new tribe. Be willing to learn from everyone that you meet. Be willing to be alone and do the inner work. Break yourself down, pick yourself up, and learn along the way. The path is quieter at the top, but it is also more aligned, more empowering, and more fulfilling. I thank you for choosing the front row and spending time with me. I'll catch you on the next video. Cheers.